Welcome to the Pre-Match Pint, coming to you from the home of London Pride, the Fuller's Brewery shop and tap room in Chiswick, where if you mention you're a Brentford fan, you get a 10% discount. I'm Luke Gregory, in for Stu today, and as always, we're joined by Rhys and Natalie and Jonathan Douglas joining us today. Guys, happy St Patrick's Day.
Happy St Patrick's Day.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.
I think it's only fitting that we maybe start with discussing who our favourite Irish player for Brentford is. Maybe without exceptions of taking Jonathan out of the room. But mine's behind you there, mate.
Oh, Alan Judge.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Tremendous player.
That's a life-side picture too.
I mean, I can't say anybody else but someone who's sat right here.
I can.
You can.
I can. I'll go Alan Bennett. I played with Benno.
Oh, yeah.
Benno, massive lugs, but lovely lad.
Well, we thought we'd put our favourite Irish players out on the bar, so let's just get this one.
Oh, yay!
Just make it.
Oh, brilliant.
Last Saturday against Burnley, Natalie, if we start with you, it was just, it's back-to-back wins now, but it was just brilliant last Saturday, wasn't it?
It was, although I actually felt so anxious for a good sort of 75 minutes in that game. I was sat along with my family, as I always am, saying to my brother, why am I here? I don't want to be here, I'm not enjoying it, etc. Because it just felt as though it was on a knife edge. And obviously so much riding on it with both teams obviously fighting relegation. So to come away with that victory, as it then turned out, I mean, I was beaming, I was so happy. And yeah, just to put a little bit of distance now between ourselves and Burnley is a real positive going forward into the end of the season. But it wasn't comfortable. I wasn't comfortable, I have to say.
And Rhys, like Natalie just said there about it not being a comfortable stage in the game, it was kind of like a hard-fought victory, wasn't it? And it was end-to-end at stages in that game, and in the end we did get the breakthrough.
Yeah, it was tense. I think both teams knew exactly what was at stake. It wasn't pretty at times, if I'm honest, but I think a little bit of quality at the end from Mr. Eriksen was the difference. And you know, I think at one point, you know, 82nd, 83rd minute, you know, Jay Rodriguez had just hit the bar from 35 yards, and that would have basically epitomised our luck at the moment. But you know, the bit of quality from Eriksen, great finish from Ivan, and you could sense the relief around the stadium. It was huge in the context of the season, and also, you know, we spoke in the last week's show about Pontus trying to keep everyone's feet on the ground and not get carried away. Norwich means nothing without following it up against Burnley. The guys have done that now, back-to-back wins for the first time this season, and it puts us in great shape going into the weekend's game.
And Jonathan, how will the squad just be feeling after back-to-back win? Because I imagine, you know, for fans, it's a bit of a relief that we've got them 6 points from 6. But how will the squad be feeling?
Yeah, they'll be in cloud nine, you know what I mean. But they'll be thinking that it's not over yet. You know, as a footballer, you're just thinking, well, you know, another couple of defeats and you know teams behind you winning, you know, can drag you back in again. But as you say, they were must-win games, and you know to come away at 6 points out of those two games was, you know, was great. You know, great for the team, the fans as well. Rhys touched on it there. It wasn't the most prettiest game, but you know that's why you sign somebody like, you know, Eriksen, who has that little bit of quality and does things out of the ordinary, and you know you win 2-0.
We mentioned Eriksen and the quality he's shown for both of the goals. I wanted to talk about the goals, and I saw a lovely piece of analysis by Stephen Warnock on the TV about the first goal and the way Eriksen's just done this beautiful little touch past Westwood, and then the ball's in perfect for Ivan to head it in. But it's like you said, Jonathan, that quality you get from Christian is what you need in that situation where maybe we haven't had clear-cut chances, but it's just that one bit of magic.
It is, yeah. And as a midfielder for Westwood, you know, he's doing the right thing. He thinks that Eriksen's going to go on his right foot, which, you know, 9 times out of 10 he would, but he's got the quality just to, you know, drag it onto his left and just, you know, pick Ivan out with, you know, unbelievable ball. So he's a great signing, and you know, it was great to be there to watch him. You know, the just little things that he does, he just calms everything down anytime he's on the ball. He never gives it away. He just looks as if he's cruising through games, and you know, I'm happy that he's with Brentford.
But even the breakaway for the second, obviously he was really instrumental in that, and then obviously Ivan earned the penalty as a result of that. But yeah, he just brings something extra to a Brentford side that we've been lacking for much part of this season. And you know, not to be negative about the squad in general, because I wouldn't want to, because this is a squad that's done brilliantly and got us into the Premier League, but it's just upped the level, hasn't it? And having someone like Christian Eriksen in the team, and you just know when he gets on the ball that there could be some quality ball that he's going to deliver into a box, which
I'm
hopefully
sure our forwards
like
would know that as well.
Yeah.
Ivan would probably look in this, and I think he said in his post-match the other day that he had one chance and he scored it. But Ivan and Brian must be loving the fact that they know that he'll find them.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And I think as each game comes and they sort of grow in this sort of, I say partnership, but let's say in this sort of kind of like a partnership, there's a telepathy that they're hopefully going to learn and grow together with for the rest of the season, and then Ivan will know exactly the kind of things that Christian Eriksen will do for him, vice versa with Brian as well. They'll all be able to read each other a lot more, and it's exciting. It's exciting to know we have that extra bit of quality now in the side that could be it is already proving to be a game changer.
And then we saw the two Rhys combine for the penalty. Eriksen's played that lovely little ball to Ivan, and he wins the pen, and the red card's given to the Burnley defender. Makes no mistake from the spot. He's just unreal, isn't he, from the penalty spot?
Yeah, it's the one penalty taker I can actually confidently watch. You know, the couple of fans sat in front of me on Saturday that turned their back and said, "I can't watch it. It's too nerve-wracking." It was the 94th minute, granted, so there's a bit of wiggle room there. But no, listen, he's a striker now that's full of confidence. He's got his swagger back. You know, it's been tough at times, and I think that's down to the fact that results haven't been great in the build-up to going into Norwich. But you look at his record. You know, the games he's started and the goals he's scored. You know, it's not bad at all. For his first full season at the top level, his reputation is growing game on game. And yeah, listen, Ivan from 12 yards, you'd be foolish to back against him, wouldn't you? But again, you know, he showed the other side of his game, you know, for winning that penalty. The first goal, as you touched on, probably Dougie could have scored that, to be honest with you.
I don't think so.
But, you know, he's in the right areas, and he showed also, again, late in the game, he's still full of energy, chasing balls into channels, albeit it was a decent ball from Christian Eriksen. He still had to get there, still had to put the burners on to get ahead of the defender, and you know, he made that opportunity. And like I said, I think that is one of the most positive factors I think that's come out of the last 2 or 3 weeks is Ivan rediscovering his kind of imperious form that he had at the start of the year.
He just seems so calm as well when he's taking a pen, doesn't he?
I'm not being funny. We played a game against London Irish 18 months ago in an empty stadium, and the walk from the halfway line to the 18-yard box with no one there was the most nerve-wracking thing I've done in about 10 years.
Did you score your pen?
Of course. Of
Well, I was
course.
going to say, he's the calmest person in the stadium. He really is. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable, that confidence he has to be able to take a penalty, and in the manner in which he does it with no run-up. I mean, I remember speaking to him before in an interview and saying, I can't watch and I don't know how you do it, but he says, I'm confident, I'm not going to miss, and so far so good. And
another player I wanted to point out after the weekend, Ethan Pinnock. I thought he was amazing. He's winning everything in the air. Do you feel he's been a little bit underrated this season in the Premier League?
I wouldn't say by Brentford fans he wouldn't be. Anyway, I think he's an exceptional player. Sometimes he's left 1v1, and it's a bit like Rico Henry. When they're 1v1, they're not going to get beat. You have confidence in the two of them, and I think those two, down that left side, really gel together and really work well together. But he's a exceptional player, so he is, and he's only going to get better and better.
And he's a player that's obviously risen from non-league up into the Premier League as his first season there, and definitely doesn't look out of place, Natalie, as a Premier League centre half, does he? Well,
no. I mean, even when he came to us from Barnsley, I mean, you saw him grow really quickly into this Championship Brentford defender, and since we've been in the Premier League, yeah, I agree. He's one of those just so solid. So very little gets past him, and you can just rely on him. He's brilliant, and yeah, I completely agree. In that game against Burnley, he was formidable.
And I think, Rhys, it says a lot about the back four. And you speak to Pontus and you ask him about who his favourite player he's played alongside. He always says Ethan, and likewise Ethan says like Pontus, and they've just got that partnership, that I think that understanding as well, and they just work so well together.
Yeah, and it's vitally important. I think their attributes complement each other. Pontus is a communicator and organiser. Ethan's probably more quiet by nature, but he will thrive off having someone communicating with him constantly. And as Jonathan says, the relationship between Ethan and Rico is brilliant. You talk about telepathy about Christian Eriksen and the forward players. It's equally as important defensively. Ethan's been fantastic. His rise from Dulwich through Forest Green, through Barnsley to now be playing at the top level. And I don't think he's reached his peak yet, if I'm honest with you. And as a former defender, watching him, how calm he is, it gives me anxiety watching defenders take possession of the ball on their own 6-yard line from goal kicks, etc. I can't imagine. You'd never see me in that position. But these guys are so confident, and they have an innate belief in their own ability. And I think Ethan, for one, is someone that will get better and better. And again, this campaign has just cemented his credentials as a top defender. And I think, which is great for Brentford fans, there's more to come from him.
And after that victory, it confirmed us as the first 3 p.m. home Saturday win of the season for Brentford. But the celebrations just were unreal, weren't they? They were brilliant, Natalie.
Oh, they were fantastic. I mean, I know after we recorded this last week, we spoke about saying, just as we were enjoying a little drink, sort of saying, we just want to hear Free From Desire because we've not heard it in so long. And then to be able to hear it and for it to be like belted out as it was, and limbs, there were limbs everywhere.
It just felt special, that one on Saturday, didn't it? It just felt different to the others we've had.
Yeah, and Wissa, conducting the West Stand, it's brilliant. And they're the moments that kind of put Brentford on the map at the start of the year. And to have that feeling back on Saturday was amazing. And again, we've got 4 home games left now. I'd expect much of the same, to be honest with you. I think the fans really kind of rose to the occasion on Saturday. It was brilliant. So
looking ahead to Sunday, Jonathan, obviously Leicester probably haven't had the season they'd hoped for, like position-wise. Obviously they're still in the Europa Conference League, but do you reckon they'll be disappointed with their seaon so far, Leicester?
Yeah, I think so, because previous years they've done really well. They've been challenging for a long time. Obviously they won the FA Cup as well. There's even some crazy talk about Brendan Rodgers being under pressure and stuff. So they've had a difficult season for them. But again, it's like every team. They've had some important players missing through injury, and I think that some of them are just coming back as well. So it's they'll be looking at this as a disappointing season. Who knows what they're going to do in Europe? But from where they were last year and previous years, it hasn't been one for them anyway.
Do you reckon that could play a part in Sunday's game if they're playing in Europe? I think tonight it's a quick turnaround. How will that affect them for Sunday, Natalie?
Well, as Jonathan's just said, this is a team that has had huge injury problems all season. Obviously, there's no Jamie Vardy, which again is huge to lose your talisman, because actually when he just returned to the team, obviously he just picked up a new injury. When he returned to the team, they sort of picked up their form. So to lose him, as they have done in this sort of business end of the season, it's a big blow for them and something we need to capitalise on. And if I think back to the game when we played them at the Brentford Community Stadium, I didn't think there was much in it. I felt we deserved something out of that game. Obviously, we lost it 2-1 in the end, but James Maddison antics aside, I felt like there wasn't much in it really between the two teams. And so if we can kind of recreate that kind of form, and obviously we're confident now because we won 2 on the trot, then there's no reason why we can't pick up a result at Leicester against a team that, as you say, are playing in Europe, so they might be a little bit tired and also have loads of injuries. It's the best time to capitalise on it.
A player who didn't play in the game back at Brentford Community Stadium was Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, and he's kind of come alive in the back end of this season and looking like a real talent. I think he was out on loan last year, but he's looking really good, and Leicester have a proper talent there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's been one of the main positives for Leicester this season. They are, it's a really bad cliche, but they're consistently inconsistent this year. I mean, they show signs of brilliance, and then they can just revert to absolute nonsense at that point. And to Natalie's point, it was a really closely contested game at our stadium. But Dewsbury-Hall, absolutely, he kind of epitomises what Leicester were about. Full of energy, good in possession, good positional sense. He's a really promising young player, absolutely. But Leicester away is not going to define the rest of our season, which I think should give us a lot of confidence. Especially on the back of two home wins, two wins, should I say? Going to Leicester on Sunday, it's an opportunity to really have a go at Leicester. Playing tonight, fatigue may be a factor. Confident Brentford going there, put them under pressure, and you never know what can happen. I think it's one of those ones. Playing teams that are comfortably mid-table at this stage of the season could work one or two ways, can't it? The pressure's off them, pressure's off us. But I'd expect a really, really good game for sure. But it's definitely a game that we can win. And if we do win, it's
close then. It's close. It's near enough, isn't it?
Yes. I would almost say we're home and hosed, but we're as near as.
Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity. Yeah.
You see, Leicester may be a bit inconsistent, but they have, Jonathan, still got the players that if you don't turn up can hurt you on the day if you're not at your best.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I've not mentioned him, James Maddison. On the ball, he's incredible. I think some people are having a go at him that probably off the ball he's not so good, which is why maybe he's not at one of the top teams. But yeah, they have a lot of quality in the team, and you know, as we said, they are in Europe. Maybe they're putting all their eggs in one basket, and might turn a rubbish season into a good season if they go and win that. So it is, as Nat said, it is a good opportunity to go and play with, coming out with 2 wins, so full of confidence. So you have to go there wanting to win the game, and these won't see it, but if they win this on Sunday, then that's them done.
Fingers crossed, hopefully. Well, that's all we've got time for today. Thanks so much for joining us for a pint. Look, people always call me a lightweight, but I'm quite happy with that
That's
so far.
2 fingers, that's nothing. What are you talking about?
You had 1 sip there, mate. Well done.
One sip, cheers, bet, yeah. If you're going down up to Leicester on Sunday, enjoy the game, get behind the boys, and let us know in the comments below what you think the score prediction is going to be and what you've made of the last 2 games. Right, thank you so much for joining us. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
And up the bees, you Reds.